Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! So the story behind me and having a cup of tea every single time before I sit in front of this camera and record my thoughts on Descendants and Zombies has to do with when I was a little boy. I used to have trouble sleeping in the nighttime, so it used to help me clear my thoughts every night before I'd shut my eyes having a cup of tea. And it helps me years later talk about Descendants and Zombies for you guys because it helps me put my thoughts together rather than writing pre-written statements on a piece of paper and reading it word for word like a lot of people do on YouTube. Because I think the most effective way of talking to your audience is by talking from your heart and speaking from your heart, because your heart is your best friend, and all you got to do is trust in that. It's kind of like Jiminy Cricket being Pinocchio's conscience for all these years. So my heart's pretty much been my conscience, and I speak from my heart when it comes to Descendants of Zombies. So I hope you'll forgive me for that. Some of the very first subscribers that I ever had on this YouTube channel are still here, and I honestly can't believe that. Thank you so much for all the love and support and the outpouring of love and support you continuously show this YouTube channel. I hope you continue to show for the foreseeable future, because we've got a long journey ahead of us. For those critics out there that are shutting down your hopes and dreams of ever seeing Descendants and Zombies go beyond your expectations, oh, trust me, it will. Descendants and Zombies is the most revered franchise of all time, and it has surpassed the expectations of Hannah Montana, High School Musical, Wizards, Phineas, and Ferb even. Even movies like Tangled and Frozen have been surpassed by the success of Descendants and Zombies because it's so profound. And the message that it's relayed to our hearts all the time is never stop believing in yourself. Always believe that a dream is possible no matter what that dream is, and always achieve it no matter what lengths you have to go to, even if it is beyond your physical limits. And even if it is beyond your physical limits, it doesn't mean that it can't happen for you, because it will. I know there are a lot of people out there that feel discouraged from their dreams and their hopes because of peer pressure, because of relationships, what have you, but trust me, you'll get there. You'll find your light. I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke. I'm your voice of Descendants and Zombies, and I'm here to help you make sense of Descendants and Zombies and everything that pertains to it, because a lot of people on YouTube don't do that. And I've uploaded almost 3 videos this morning because I love talking about Descendants and Zombies so much. It's really an honor for me to sit in front of this podcast microphone and this camera every morning and talk about Descendants and Zombies in a way that I believe it's far more effectively talked about, because you talk about your experiences in your everyday life and you relate it to Descendants and Zombies, which a lot of reviewers don't do. And I receive a lot of criticism for talking about my everyday life on this show because I love to tell you stories, because it helps you get to know your host. And I don't think there's even a host to these Descendants and Zombies videos. It's just people uploading probably 1 or 2 videos about Descendants and Zombies to their channels. I don't think they tell you who they are. They just ramble on, Descendants and Zombies, blah, blah, you know, kind of thing. And I don't want to do that for you. I want to show the franchises the appreciation and the respect it deserves, because the respect it deserves is profound. And it's really revered. And because it's so revered, and stars like Kylie Cantrall and Leah Baker are people that I can't get enough of, I really do enjoy creating this channel for you. You know, I haven't looked back since, and I have no regrets. And I really do believe that mermaids will see their introduction into the Zombies franchise. If you believe that mermaids can exist in Seabrook, then so too will mermaids exist in Seabrook. So it will be. I think mermaids are beautiful. I think they're innocent creatures. If you believe mermaids will exist, then so it will be. And I will hold on to that belief for each and every one of you for forever and always, because I've always believed that mermaids are very beautiful and they're very unpredictable. You don't know what a mermaid is going to do from one moment to the next. So if you want to hold on to the belief that mermaids will happen for Seabrook, then mermaids shall happen for Seabrook. So too will pirates, so too will sirens, so too will witches. I think that witches have always had something to do with vampire TV shows and movies for forever. So because they've always had something to do with vampire TV shows and movies for forever, then why can't they have something to do with the Zombies franchise? The Zombies franchise is so revered and so powerful because of the messages of acceptance and how second chances really do exist. Because even though when you don't think they do, second chances have this thing where they pop up from out of nowhere, and when you least expect it, miracles happen for you. And you guys were my miracle, because in all honesty, I know this to be true, because in all honesty, you guys brought me back from out of obscurity and out of nowhere. I thought my career was over, and I thought I had told my story, and I thought I had completed it, and I thought nobody else wanted to hear what I had to say, so I hopped my headset 7.5 years ago, and my co-host looked at me and he said, "We'll see you in a couple of years, Jonathan." And it was a long drive home that night. And while I was putting my thoughts together and I was looking at the stars and the moon, which I do every night, because there's a beautiful window just outside my house, and you guys brought me back because I was looking, and really I was looking for a reason. I was looking for incentive to create again on YouTube, because I thought my time had surpassed. I thought my legacy was up and my time was up, because the most precious thing about time is how much time we're allocated, and people tend to forget that time always runs out. I don't think this was ever meant to happen for me, but it did because of you. And that's the thing. And I am forever grateful for each and every one of you having brought me back from out of obscurity, because it's a really scary place to be sometimes, because you don't know what direction your life is headed in. You can't really make sense of it. But when I felt like I had nobody, I had you guys to talk about Descendants and Zombies with. You know, every night of my life, I love sitting in front of this podcast microphone. And if you believe that Victor or Noble will stand the test of time and their legacies will last forever in the annals of time and history, then more power to you. I'm here to support that, because I thought that Freya Sky's performance of Gold Is Gone at the Worlds Collide Tour was phenomenal. It was absolutely incredible. So if you were passing the torch from Meg Donnelly to anybody, it would have to have been Freya Sky, hands down. I've known about Freya Sky for over 15 years, and I've had no regrets. I was in Europe at the time producing a podcast for professional wrestling. It was called The Main Event, and I heard about Freya Sky's birth in October of 2005, I do believe. It was in October of that year. She'll be 16 this year, and I was blown away by it, because I thought she was going to have a promising future, because of course her parents had history in the entertainment industry, and I felt so honored at the moment when somebody let me know she was born, because I knew she was going to be something so special to entertainment that people didn't even think she was going to be, and she definitely exceeded and surpassed the expectations of every critic she had out there. And so did Kylie Cantrall. It was just, I think Kylie Cantrall was never given enough credit where credit was due, because when you can put up over 500,000 views in less than a year on your YouTube channel, with of course production assistance from your dad and stuff, that really says a lot. And Kylie Cantrall really didn't have a whole lot of support. She just had the support of her family and her friends, because all of her friends were uploading videos on YouTube. I know, because I saw some of them. And this is where Kylie Cantrall drew inspiration and encouragement from. And I think more people gradually just fell in love with Kylie Cantrall, and that's why her YouTube channel seemingly blew up overnight. She had for those of you who don't know, her first role was Tessa on Bizaardvark, and it was just for season 2, a couple of episodes. And 18 months after that, she landed the role of Gabby Dern in The Unsittables, as Gabby Dern, of course, and her career just blew up and skyrocketed to superstardom. And I was forever grateful for the opportunity Disney gave her, because she was just sitting on a wish. She was sitting on a wish and a dream that only her heart could have made. And she got that opportunity. She got a lot of criticism for it, but she got that unbelievable opportunity. And I've felt inspired by Kylie Cantrall ever since. I'm back on YouTube because of Kylie Cantrall. Now, I was a YouTuber ever before Kylie Cantrall ever was a YouTuber, but I'm back on YouTube because of Kylie and Ruby. And as long as they exist and they have a heartbeat, I will be here to support them for you. So don't ever worry about these critics and what they're saying about Kylie Cantrall and Ruby Rose Turner. Just let me know about it, and I will do something for you about it, because I think that you guys deserve to hear nothing but the best in the way of reviews about Kylie Cantrall, and it's about damn time that somebody gave that to you, because you're a fan of Descendants and Zombies. And here's the thing. I know what it's like to be you. I know what it's like to be excited about what to find out what's inside of that vortex. I know what's excited to be about being a Zombies and Descendants fan. I know what it's like to be you. And because I know what it's like to be you and be in your position and be excited at the premiere of Zombies a couple of weeks ago, because I was just as excited as you. You know, I was really excited. I was counting down the hours, the minutes, and literally the seconds to the premiere of Zombies. And when the premiere of Zombies happened, just as fast as you could snap your fingers, I was in front of my TV watching it. Now, I didn't sit in front of the TV, mind you, with a piece of paper and a pencil and pre-write stuff to say on a recorded podcast an hour and a half later. Because you can say a lot in 90 minutes, actually, if you don't pre-write anything. Now, there are a lot of people that aren't as gifted as that to be able to say anything without pre-written statements, so they have to do that, and I respect that too. But if you're going to say something about Descendants and Zombies, I think you really have to have a profound impact on somebody's heart left. You just can't say how you feel about Descendants and Zombies and have a profound impact on somebody's heart, because that's just getting away with murder. And I want to do if I'm going to do something, I want to do something in a way that it touches your heart, and that you run away with something from my YouTube videos, each and every single one of them, with a profound message of kindness and the thought of giving someone kindness in their lifetime every day of your life, because you never know how far kindness can go. And that's what I got out of Ruby Rose Turner's presentation of Bridget, because she was just so genuinely kind. Ruby Rose Turner has never done anything to hurt anybody, so why is she subjected to all this criticism? I think it has a lot to do with jealousy. And because jealousy is such a cruel way of perceiving yourself, which a lot of people have because of the success of others, they're going to try to bring you down every single day of your life. And that's what's happening for Ruby. But I want Ruby to know that even though her time with the Descendants franchise was very short-lived, she offered a lot to the Descendants franchise, and she really brought it to life in a way that I don't think anybody else would ever been able to bring it to life. And I'm still feeling inspired by Ruby Rose Turner. For the life of me, with Leomani Segura and Kylie Cantrall lending their voices to the lyrics of Life is Sweeter When You Are, I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's the rumor going around. They're going to remix Life is Sweeter With You Are with Ruby's voice. There was just something about Ruby's voice being incredibly satisfying on that song and putting her voice to the lyrics that made a whole lot of sense to me. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that Kylie Cantrall and Liamani Segura are going to be able to pull this off because, of course, Liamani Segura is going to have a powerful introduction into the Descendants franchise, because what we could be setting up for here is a passing of the torch moment, because there was never a passing of the torch moment of significance with Descendants. I've never ever seen that before. So because we've never seen it before, there has to be something significantly done, even if it is remixing the song Life is Sweeter With You Are. But I just want Ruby to know, even though her time with the Descendants franchise was very short-lived, she has forever and always had a profound impact on my heart. That's sometimes why you see my reciprocal lights being pink, and why I was so broken-hearted when the announcement was made that Ruby was parting ways with the franchise, because a year and a half ago, when the announcement first broke that Ruby Rose Turner was going to be a part of the franchise and lending her voice to the Descendants soundtrack, I was incredibly excited, because I used to sit in front of my TV and I used to watch music videos like Be Myself and Ruby Rock from years ago, and I thought Ruby was just a huge inspiration, and I used to watch that show Coop and Cammy Ask the World. A shame the show only got 2 seasons, though, because Ruby had incredibly supportive parents. Of course, her dad, Andrew, of course, of English descent. I've often wanted to sit down with an English muffin and talk to Andrew about having a daughter such as powerful as what Ruby is, because she's such an inspiration to so many people, and she's inspired so many people to be kinder in their own lives, which I wish more Disney stars would go out of the way to do. I mean, we've seen Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez and even Demi Lovato, who cracked under pressure years ago because of the fame, try to do this but drastically fail at doing it. And then years later, here comes Kylie Cantrall and Ruby Rose Turner to make up for lost time. And it's left me wondering, where were Kylie Cantrall and Ruby Rose Turner all of my life? I'm so happy they're here, and I never ever want them to go away. So how we keep them here for forever is by keeping them happy and giving them reviews of themselves that they can be proud to YouTube, because there's nothing worse than being a celebrity having to open up your eyes every day to criticism. They say it's constructive criticism, but I got my doubts about that. Because you take Meg Donnelly being so open-hearted and open-minded with each and every one of you, saying everything with an open heart and an open mind, talking about her struggles with anxiety and panic attacks and her mom's battle with cancer and fearing necrophobia. I know what it's like to be Meg Donnelly, and I know what it's like to be in Meg Donnelly's position when you're suffering with the fear of necrophobia, which is a fear of dead and dead things, because you don't really know when it's coming for you. All you know that it's inevitable, and it's something that you can never avoid, because eventually it's going to catch up with you. And I think it's a fact that enters all of our lives. But I think for the most of our childhood, we struggle with it, for those of you who are suffering with that, because the thing about a phobia is it can control your life. And my heart goes out to Meg Donnelly, and I want her to know that she's not alone. And through the power of this show, I like to believe that I've conveyed a message that lets these stars know that they're not alone and the support is here for them. Because I hate seeing Kylie Cantrall cry over things like her political point of view and her relationship status ending up in the conversation when it has no business being a conversation which is supposed to make Kylie Cantrall happy. I mean, we as fans of Kylie Cantrall sure are going to criticize her, but I think the majority of our time as fans of her could be devoted to supporting her, because I love supporting Kylie Cantrall. I think she is incredibly beautiful. I mean, she could have been Jasmine in the live-action Aladdin, and if they're making Aladdin 2, why not substitute Naomi Scott for Kylie Cantrall? She's incredibly beautiful. Why not substitute Sabrina Carpenter in the live-action Tangled for Rapunzel portrayed by Ruby Rose Turner? If they want the opportunities, give it to them. I've heard Dove Cameron say she wanted to be Anna in the live-action or Broadway adaptation of Frozen. So if these girls want these opportunities, give them to them. Give them the ball and see how they can bounce it. See how they can roll with it. Just don't snatch opportunities from underneath them. I think that they have brighter futures ahead for them, and I think that their horizons are definitely going to broaden because of Descendants and Zombies. Descendants and Zombies are the most revered musicals in Disney history, in my opinion, and far more revered than High School Musical ever was. The reason why High School Musical always comes up in the conversation about Descendants and Zombies is because Descendants and Zombies has surpassed the legacies of these franchises. And the thing is, when you can surpass the legacies of High School Musical, Hannah Montana, Wizards, and Phineas and Ferb, you've gone places. And if you're not gone places yet, you're going places. And I'm here to ensure the legacies of these stars live forever and eternally. Because the thing is, if Miley Cyrus can stand on stage as the youngest Disney legend in history for her portrayal of Hannah Montana, so too can Kylie Cantrall for her portrayal of Red. So too can Dove Cameron for her portrayal of Mel, with how revered that was. I mean, whoever thought a daughter of Maleficent would be portrayed as powerfully as what Dove Cameron did? She did a fabulous job, so too did Kylie Cantrall. If there ever was a moment where the torch has been significantly passed from Dove to Kylie, it was this. And I think that, fans really do understand Descendants better than they're ever given credit for. The critics will try to tell you what's up and what's happening with Descendants on their YouTube shows, but I think you guys are far more smarter than you're ever given credit for. And that's the thing that I respect about all of you, is that you're far more smarter than you're ever given credit for. While critics will try to shut down your hopes and dreams, you have held on to the belief that Descendants and Zombies is so revered and such a valued part of your life that you would sacrifice anything to attend the Worlds Collide Tour just to be in the presence of your favorite stars, or to watch the newest Descendants or Zombies movie, or watch the franchise by binging it on Disney Plus all the time. That you deserve all the respect in the world, because like I said, you're far more smarter than you're ever given credit for. I don't think there's a Descendants and Zombies fan out there that doesn't know everything about Descendants and Zombies, and if there is somebody out there that doesn't know everything about Descendants and Zombies, the people that do know everything about it are going to let them know about it and make them some of the greatest fans of all time. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is the most powerful and most dedicated niche to what they love that I've ever encountered. The greatest honor of my life is being able to sit in front of this podcast microphone every morning and shoot these videos for you and talk about Descendants and Zombies. We will do this again tomorrow morning. We'll do this again one final time tonight. Because I can't think of anything else better to do than talk about Descendants and Zombies in a meaningful way and show it the respect that it's been deserving for a very long time. Because when you have people like Ruby Rose Turner and Kylie Cantrall crying all the time, it has to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if we post videos on YouTube that they can fall in love with and be proud of. To say, you know, I got to this point, I'm proud of how far I came, and I don't have a critic, at least for once, talking about me in such a negative way, presenting a negative vibe, perceiving me for someone who I'm not. Because the worst thing is perceiving a celebrity for who they're not. I mean, I saw it so many times over the years with Hilary Duff and Lindsay Lohan and Jessica Simpson, done time and time again. Nobody could ever back off them and give them a chance, give them time to evolve. You know, years ago in English class, the teacher asked me to describe a situation in Dracula, and the only word that came to mind was evolve. So I used it. You know, the process of evolving is giving someone time to broaden their horizons and to show you who they're actually going to be for the rest of their lives and how they want to be perceived. Which is why I really wish that Disney would give them more creative freedom than what they've been given. You know, I think Zombies was the first franchise to give just a little bit of a slight advantage with creative freedom. I don't think Descendants did, because of the popularity of it, and the writers and producers realized how popular it was, and they wanted to take it in a certain direction and choreograph it the way they wanted to. But I think if you bestow that little bit of creative freedom on characters like Neil Segura's Pink and, of course, Kylie Cantrall's Red, and let them perceive the characters for the way they wanted to be and how they wanted to be, then I think the Descendants franchise would ultimately be more revered and be more respected, more highly respected by thousands, if not millions of people, because over 10 million people have subscribed to it on social media, so they really know what's up. They know how to separate different characters by character traits. They know how to separate their favorite characters with their stories. So you can't tell a Descendants fan any different or try to convince them what they believe, because they know what they believe is the reality of life. Because the reality of life to them is there's no other way to live, only Descendants and Zombies, and live yourself through the eyes of your favorite characters. I mean, that's what's up about Descendants and Zombies. That's why people are so strong now, not putting up with nonsense anymore, and making friends with people who are fans of Descendants and Zombies. This is a strong-knit community that's not going anywhere. The bond between Descendants fans is unbreakable. And the quicker some podcast hosts realize that and devote their time to talking about Descendants and Zombies in a positive way, I think the better off we're all going to be. I'm excited for the future of Descendants and Zombies. I'm excited just like each and every one of you. I consider this an honor to sit behind this podcast microphone every day of my life, which I hope is going to be for the rest of my life, because I have a lot to say where Descendants and Zombies goes. And I have each and every one of you to thank for that, because without you, I'd have no show. I wouldn't be here. I would have never been brought back from out of obscurity when I couldn't make sense of my own life, because you guys really helped me make sense of my own life. And it allowed me to put my life into perspective in a way that I'd never been able to put my life into perspective before. Talking about mermaids, witches, werewolves, zombies, what have you, and how a girl can fall in love with a zombie. I love that. I think that's cool. I think that's cool how so many people believe in this, and this is the reality of life. This has become the new way of life and the new reality of life. Believing that Descendants and Zombies can coexist in a world, that they don't need barriers, they don't need electric fences, they don't need zombie poison or Z-bands to live happily ever after. And the chances of Descendants giving us a hope and dream of happily ever after actually existing, I'm putting it out there. Because each and every one of you believe in it so much, I'm never taking away your hopes and dreams. I just want you to be a part of this incredible journey that I'm on. I don't want you to subscribe because I want you to subscribe. I want you to subscribe because you want to subscribe. You want to be a part of something special, and I can see that in your eyes. You've always and forever wanted to be a part of something special, and I've just wanted to give you something special. And it's such an honor to be able to sit in front of this podcast microphone and to have talked about Descendants and Zombies for the better part of 10 years and been your voice of Descendants and Zombies when others didn't want to be the voice of Descendants and Zombies and kind of shied away from it. This is really the best time of my life, and a time in my life, no matter how long I live, that I will never ever forget. If I live to be 100 years old, I will never forget being your voice of Descendants and Zombies, nor will I ever forget each and every one of you and being in your presence. Because this really is an honor. You said, okay, cool, he can be our voice of Descendants and Zombies. We can take a chance on him. We can put up with Jonathan Clarke for another decade. Thank you so much for always hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button, because trust in me, and I will never ever let you down. This really is the greatest time of my life, having been your voice of Descendants and Zombies, and I just hope that I've been able to help you make sense of these franchises when others couldn't. Because I think a lot of people who upload these videos on YouTube are filling up their videos with pretty much just nonsense, trying to make you believe the direction of Descendants and Zombies is going to be this, when it really isn't, because it's an entirely different direction, and a lot of it is, hidden from the audience until it's revealed, and when it's revealed, it's such a huge shock. I think when it's revealed what's inside of that vortex, it's going to be a huge shock to so many people. And we're going to have so many videos uploaded on YouTube with people's reactions into what was revealed inside of that vortex. People are not going to be able to make sense of it. People are just going to be absolutely shocked and stunned. And I think that's going to make a fun time of predictions and a fun time for everybody to become a fan of Descendants and Zombies who necessarily aren't. And I'm just really excited to see what will happen from here. I think we have a very promising future in store for us for Malachi Burton and Freya Sky. I'll talk about more about this tonight on my final show, which I'll upload just before sunset, and I hope you will join me for that. I think that this is just an incredible time to be a fan of Disney, because Disney's really come into its own with Descendants and Zombies, and that's something that I want you to really run away with from this. While others will criticize the multiverse stuff happening with Marvel right now, and others will choose to criticize Descendants and Zombies, I think this is a very powerful time to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies, to be a very powerful fan of Disney and represent it in a way that it's never been represented before. And I couldn't have done this without each and every one of you. I honestly couldn't, because there was a time when I was hosting a show that was targeting a specific niche, or may have been targeting a specific niche, I really don't know, that couldn't make sense of anything I was talking about, whether it was TV, video games, what have you, because I have the biggest PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 video game collection ever, and I was talking about it on YouTube, and a lot of stuff that I was talking about really didn't make a whole lot of sense to a lot of people, and then I fell in love with this niche on my journey, and I've never left since. I want people like Kylie Cantrall and Ruby Rose Turner to know that they are loved, even when they can't make sense of their own life, and I like to believe somewhere, somehow, I was able to do that, but I could never have done it without your guys' help. Because it's one thing to host a show and hope that your voice is going to be heard, and when your voice is finally heard and you're watched by so many unbelievable people, it really goes to show just how far kindness can really go and how far it can be spread. But again, I could never have done it without each and every one of you. Today we'll cross over 50,000 views on the YouTube channel, on the algorithm, by the time this video is uploaded. And again, I couldn't have done it without each and every one of you. I never ever thought this YouTube channel would see 100,000 plus views just last year, over 3,000 subscribers presently, and who knows how many more we're going to get. Because I know there are millions of Descendants and Zombies fans out there on YouTube watching these videos who have yet to discover these videos, and by the time they do, they are going to be blown away by the support this YouTube channel has already received. Because some of the very first subscribers that I have on this YouTube channel are still here, and I honestly don't know where I'd be without your love and support. Thank you guys so much for just being here, for showing up the way that you have, and you never fail to show up. You never cease to amaze me, and I hope you continue to do that for the foreseeable future for this YouTube channel, because this YouTube channel really does need you on this incredible journey that you girls have got me on. Because it's one thing to upload videos, but to not have the support, which I do have, from each and every one of you. And I think that's what the YouTube algorithm out there fails to realize sometimes, is just how incredibly supportive you guys are of Descendants and Zombies. You're always searching up cast updates, teaser trailers, what have you, costumes for Halloween. It's so cool. I know how the algorithm works, and I love to appeal to the algorithm, which is each and every one of you, and I love to share my stories about my everyday life that tie in significantly to Descendants and Zombies, and I like to believe that some way, somehow, I've touched your heart through the power of Descendants and Zombies. So I hope that you will continue to support this YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed, you're probably going to want to subscribe and like this video, and have a whole lot of fun here on this YouTube channel, because there are hundreds of videos talking about Descendants and Zombies, which I find you will find great interest in and amusement from. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your life. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your voice of Descendants and Zombies, to help you make sense of everything. We've still got a long way to go, an incredible journey ahead of us, and I hope you will allow me to be your voice of Descendants and Zombies for just a little while longer, because it truly is an honor to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone for you and with you every single day of my life, for the rest of my life if I have to talk about Descendants and Zombies, the franchises you love so much, and the franchises that have brought us all together unbelievably. Thank you so much for this incredible 25-year legacy of my career, and the 10-year legacy of Descendants and Zombies, and experience in a time in my life that I know I will never forget and always cherish. Keep me in your heart as I will keep you in mine. I will talk to you again tonight with my final video for the day. Keep kindness in your heart, because kindness really does go a long way in this world.